This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticisms, comments, news reportings, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. CCNTV, bringing you captivating news since 2019. I know. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and of course with me and Brother Nate. It's Tuesday, so of course we talk about everything on this Tuesday, news, politics, and everything else in between, and we have so much to talk about. Piping hot food to talk about, and amongst other things. Brother Nate, let me know when you're ready so I can see you. All right. And let me swoop over to the chat real quick. And of course, I did get your thumbs up. Hey. It's like Shaft coming into the room.
I know. Ooh, you damn right. You know they heard this. You know they said that Cat Shaft. He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. So happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully everything is good. How's the family? Everybody's good.
Everyone's well. And you? Hope everybody's doing good today. Hey Patty. Hey Queen Diva.
Everybody's trying to stay cool because it,
I know,
for some reason got hot as hell. It was
days
where it was like, okay, fall is coming. And it was like, did you lie?
Like your mind.
What's going on? Hey, Patty Duke, how are you? Queen Diva, always a pleasure. And for those of you in the balcony, your waiter or waitress will be around with your drink of choice.
Preferably something cold.
Yes, with ice. Yeah. So. Boy, oh boy, like so much stuff. But it was pretty light today. Some of the same old stuff. Some things, we have some updates for you in regards to some stories, but it's pretty light today. So we should run through this and get through a lot of stuff pretty smoothly, or spend some time, going back and forth, because I like to engage with you guys. It's always fun. So let's get it started. All right, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get this party started. I know everybody has something going on today, and it's quite all right.
Yeah, it's called keeping cool. That's what that shit is.
That part.
This is just a glimpse.
It is indeed. All right, let's go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Sometimes I just feel like maybe there'll be some justice for a young black kid in America. Um, and time again, that dwindling, shiny glimmer of hope, that Disney star that we always dream about as kids, when you wish upon a star, that just fades away to the background, gets further and further away from reality when you hear stories like this. So the elder white man, that went silent because nobody's been talking about the case that shot that unarmed black teen as he was going to pick up his siblings from their friend's house. And he accidentally went to the wrong house, which was like, what, a block away or around the
Yeah,
corner from the actual uh, attempted saltine that tried to unalive this young man. Is in court, right? And a Missouri judge had ruled that the 84-year-old Anderson Lester, the old saltine that shot, what was the young man's name? I always mess up his name. Where is his name? Where, isn't it Yardle or Yardy or something? Raphael Yardle shot the young man in the head. Okay. Thanks to God that it did not damage anything. However, he will have to live with that bullet in his skull. The neurologist said that the shot did not damage anything, but they don't want to remove it and fear that it may actually cause some damage if removed. So he has to live with that in his skull for the rest of his life. But needless to say, uh, the 87-year-old man, of course, showed up to court, uh, and his lawyer or attorney given by the court is basically insisting that his shooting of this victim was justified. But at the same time, trying to say that uh, he's too old to be charged for this crime. He's very old and feeble, and he can't withstand the pressure of being on trial. However, thank God for the young man living through this ordeal because his testimony is what moved not only the pretrial jury but the actual judge to say, "Oh no, he can withstand trial." Because of course he testified to what the old man told him upon him knocking on his door by accident. He said he knocked on the old man's door, uh, and he thinking that it was his uh, siblings, friends' parents that were coming to the door. And then the first thing he heard was, uh, "Don't come in here or get away from my door." And then a shot. Next thing you know, he realized he was shot in the head. So there was no exchange of, "You have the wrong house. What are you doing here? Get away." It was instantly open the door, open fire. Um, so of course, he's trying to paint this picture of, "Oh, I'm old, I'm feeble, I'm old." Uh, I'm not buying it, but it makes me think of that other bet that left here, uh, Dunham, where she was able to, you know, go on to hellish glory uh, all of the days of her life, hanging over the head that she actually contributed to the murder of Emmett Till. So, your thoughts? That's it. I'm
You said he couldn't stand the pressure. Couldn't stand the pressure of going to jail. I heard old ass is tender.
done.
I
It's
got
nice and soft. It's
I
like
have
butter.
to I have to ask some guys over in the beef sector how tender is old ass. Is it like veal? That's what he couldn't. That's what he was afraid of. Yeah, they don't. He ain't got to be good on looks.
No,
He just got to be a hoe.
no, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all that matters.
I just want him to. I just want him to do the. Go to court. I want him to be
Yeah.
tried. I want him to serve time.
Right. That's it. I don't care how
You
much
know,
time it
if
is.
it's
I don't.
yeah, if it's no more than 2 years,
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't want a
care.
house. I don't want house arrest.
No.
But it may even be to his favor because you go to jail, you do get medical.
Yeah, I mean, hey, because he looked like he needed.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I just thought this whole thing was absolutely ridiculous. Like you do the crime, you do the time. You don't get a pass on age. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm old. So although I almost unalive this kid, I'm still justified. Now, how you make that make sense to me is beyond that. One breath, you're justified in what you did because your argument, without his testimony, was that he tried to break into your house. That this young teen tried to break into your house. Had it not been for him surviving to be able to tell the story that I knocked, I waited for somebody to come to the door.
Hmm.
And when I thought it was the parents of my siblings' friends who was coming to the door, I heard, "Get away from my door." The door swung open and a shot was fired because it was like a double door, a storm door and the front door. So when he thought the storm door was going to open, the man opened it all right. He opened it and also shot, shooting that young man in the head. Uh, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm not buying it. And this whole, we always have to make excuses for when saltines, and I'm sorry for the white listeners, but it is what it is. Because if you don't say something, I feel you're complicit. But when the saltines do crazy acts like this, we're always looking at age and mental health and all these other things. But it's really funny that when the shoe is on the other foot, it's strictly gang related thugs. There's no concept of mental health that goes out the window. Everything is just straight environment is rapid crime and rapid this in the neighborhoods they live in. It's never a notion of mental health, mental stability, something maybe wrong. They may have needed help, but whenever they do something quick, we run instantly to mental health. I don't know what was wrong. It just seems unbalanced. The parents never knew what was wrong with old Billy. Oh no, they knew what was wrong with that motherfucker. He was crazy.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, do you remember a couple of years ago where this young man had struck and killed, I think, two people in a car, and he was very affluent. His family was very affluent, and he got off, and they were calling the case the influenza case or something like that because his parents were rich, and he didn't serve any time. But then he say like a year or so later, he showed up in front of the same judge again for drunk driving.
Oh, vaguely I remember that. That was a long time ago.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I vaguely remember the story a little bit. And then the judge was really like, "Okay, the second time you've been in front of my face, um, what happened
no, but
with him?
the judge was the first one. Is like he wouldn't be able to because he
Live his
comes from
life."
such a
Yeah,
sheltered life and all the rest of it. That has nothing to do with it. What does that have to do with it?
these people think
So
it
either
does.
way, they try to make excuses for these people, for their people. So
Well, they always make excuses for their people.
mhm.
Just like I just saw a clip this week. I don't know if there was some kind of protest or something going on in Atlanta, and this white guy in a pickup truck wanted to do donuts while these people who were mostly black in the streets, it was some sort of festival or something going on. He wanted to make donuts in the street, and he hit a few people, and then the state trooper was like watching it and hit his lights and did all that, and they did like a little bit of a chase. He still wound up hitting somebody as he tried to avert the police. But even when the police rammed his car into the man's pickup truck to stop him, literally had him pinned between the car and like a light pole, he jumps on the car like the Dukes of Hazzard and everything, gun pointed, ready to fire, and not a shot was fired.
Mhm.
Not a one. Not a one. Yet that young lady who they just killed, who jumped the curve at a giant, was it? Uh,
Oh, the no, no, no. The was it
it
the
was a
pregnant?
it was,
Was she
it was
pregnant?
Yeah, she was pregnant, and they
Okay, yeah,
wanted,
they wanted to arrest her for shoplifting,
and she tried to
and
get away.
she moved. Yeah, the car. She didn't try to get away. She turned her wheel.
Okay.
The cops jumped. Now this is just for shoplifting. Now they drew
Mhm. Yeah.
guns. They drew
Yeah.
guns for the shoplifting.
Right.
One one cop stood at the nose of her car,
Hmm.
and one was at the door, telling her to get out. And she was like, "For what?" And you can hear her say, "No, you're going to kill me. You have your guns out."
Right.
Her wheel, you can clearly see her wheel of her car was turned. She was turning it,
Hmm.
and she was trying to move away from the cop. And the cop in the front shot through the window and killed her.
Wow. See, the story is they're trying to make it look like she jumped the curve and she was going like where her car was going to go into the store and kill people. So that's how they
No,
wound up opening
it's
fire.
actually out there now. The body cam,
Okay.
but you can clearly hear her saying, "No, she's not going to get out of the car because why do you have your guns out?
Mm,
For shoplifting."
that's crazy.
I mean, shit. Have you seen some of the stores? They even got their meat locked up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, people, this is the thing now. I just seen, was it Target? It was some store, CVS, Target, one of those. The young man was walking out with the shopping cart full of stuff trying to steal it, and the lady, who happens to be a security guard, was like going back and forth with him in regards to not taking the cart. She won the battle, but he did take two things of soda, and I'm just like, really? Is it worth? Is it
Worth
worth
all
all
that.
that? Is it really worth all that?
Times are hard. He ain't got no money.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
They
the
spent all
video
his
and everything
stimulus.
will be used to send you to jail. So
Yeah.
how
Well, they
hard?
be, he'll get all the soda he want
That's just
with
absolute.
cream. With cream.
No comment. Anyway, in other updated news, Proud Boy headliner has been convicted of helping spearhead the Capitol 6 riots, and has been sentenced to 18 years. I'll believe it
Did
when
you?
he serves all 18.
Yeah, he won't do that. But did you hear the update today? The
No.
leader, he was sentenced to 22. That's the dark
Oh,
Hispanic. That's the dark Hispanic looking guy
oh,
with
The Hispanic
yeah,
guy
the Hispanic
who
white supremacist.
yes, who thinks he's white. Yeah, because
That has the sunglasses on. They
Mhm.
gave him 20. They gave him 22 years.
Oh, look at that! Isn't that nice? I'll believe it when they serve at least 10 of those.
I don't even think they're going to do that. I think
No,
they're going to do 5 and do 15 years on probation.
yeah,
That's what they're going to do. But did you hear them crying? Did
yeah.
you hear the
Oh,
clips?
oh, I heard the one guy
If
crying
y'all
his
haven't
ass
if
off.
y'all haven't seen anything, look for the clip where they're getting sentenced. Them motherfuckers was boo-hooing. I mean,
They
they were crying. Oh my
all
God.
all the shiznit they were
It broke my
talking.
little black heart.
It didn't. All the shit that they were talking on January 6th. Oh, this was so much fun. Look what we did. We're taking our country back, and all this shit they were talking. It was a totally different story when they were getting sentenced. Or my life is ruined, and you couldn't even hear the words coming out of some of these
What am
people's
I going to
mouths.
do? What am I going to do?
Don't drop the
Get get
soap. That's what you gotta
get a
do.
OnlyFans
Yeah, that
and
too. That seems to be
make some
very
porn while
lucrative.
you're in
And
there. You might as well.
exactly.
How are they doing that? And
You said
nobody.
what? How?
How? I mean, I know how they're getting the
You can
phone.
give,
The phones are in
yeah,
there, but they let
yeah,
them have the phones now.
yeah. They let them have the phones now,
Oh, because I'm like, oh my God, how y'all do all that? And how? I mean, but this, like I said, making money on their books, right?
and then yeah, and then they're making money on their books, right? Or either it's going
Wow,
through somebody, or somebody's collecting it, and then they're putting it on their books.
on their
So it's
books.
not directly going to
Wow.
their books; it's going to somebody else, and then they're sending the money.
Because I didn't believe that until I saw it. I was like, this motherfucker got a business. He's running a
Yeah,
business
big
while he's in
big guy
prison.
is yes, straight up making
Wow.
OnlyFans content.
Okay.
In prison.
Yes, in prison. And you know that's, and they're not talking about making lasagna.
No, they're not talking about making lasagna or mac and cheese.
Mac
Okay.
and cheese. Oh, they made a lot of cheese. But it ain't that kind of cheese.
Yeah, it's not. Even
Mm.
one of the content creators who are doing actually OnlyFans right now is afraid for his life because a lot of the inmates know what he's doing and know how popular it is,
And when
and
they're
they want
looking
a
at the,
piece. Yeah,
they want a piece of the money.
they want a piece of whatever it is, either money
Oh,
or in the video part of it. I don't know, but he has said himself that it has gotten a little worrisome in the prison with him doing that, and he's kind of scared at this point.
the only thing I could see is if he was, I guess, pretty much outing somebody.
Right, right.
You know, that type of
That
thing.
part I could see, but the other, I mean, unless
Excuse me.
they know that he's making the money, you know what I'm saying? But why would you let people know that?
Mm, that's crazy.
Why would you let people know? Why would you even invite people to be like, yeah, follow my OnlyFans? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody in there
Yeah,
should even know that you're doing that.
doing it. See, that's the thing that gets me. And it's like, well, isn't I'm trying to figure out what kind of rule would they say that
I
he
don't
was
know.
breaking because he's generating income while serving time.
Well, I don't think they're
Would they
supposed to
would
be
they
like
tr- would they
I don't
garnish
think
it
they're
or
supposed to be
something?
doing the hucklebuck while they're in there, kind of, sort of. Like I think
Oh,
that's
that's evidently they have a lot of time on their hands because they was
yes,
just doing.
they do,
It's
but
like
they're not supposed to be doing that. So I think that would be in essence the main violation. Then everything else will kind of
it would fall into place.
fall into place behind that.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is very crazy. Um,
How do we get
Also,
on? How do we get on that?
I don't know. I don't know. It happens. It happens. It's Tuesday. Uh, and in other news about people getting fucked, Mitch McConnell, old turkey neck,
Oh,
old turtle
Sa-
man.
Satan can't wait.
He had his second visit. He has had his second visit. Um, and
Who's that across the room?
it went a little something like this for the second time. Let's see if I got it here. Did I got it? Yeah, we got it.
What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's good.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
It's time, Mitch. Mitch, I said it's time. The man downstairs is very happy with your performance. And the word on the street is you'll be made Duke of Hell. Mitch, I was just telling you the good news. The man downstairs thinks you're doing really well and says he'll make you a Duke of Hell. Well, okay. I guess I'll come back at another time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You
So
know, it sounds worse with headphones on. It
I'm
was
sure
real. It was real wet. I think I
real
got
loose.
splashed.
You can't trust them depends, I tell you.
Ugh.
So yeah, this is the second time in weeks that Mitch McConnell has had a glitch in the matrix. Like I think he's been visited. Of course, his camp says that of course the senator is doing fine. Of course, Mitch McConnell is the minority leader of the Republican Party in the Senate. He used to be the majority leader, but of course he lost that when the Democrats won at least the Senate in the last midterm election. Now, although they say he fine, he ain't fine. That's like a mild stroke thing going on. That's two of them. Now, people say that the concussion that he had a couple months back, this may be the result of those. I don't think he had a concussion to begin with. I think he had a stroke to begin with, and he passed out. And that is where it all kind of began. And this, whatever these drugs are, because of course you know that they get first top tier, experimental, whatever's. As far as drugs are concerned, a lot of the top elites get it before we'd even know about it, and before our doctors even talk about it. I think whatever they're giving him to kind of put some pep back in his step is causing the malfunctions that he's having. Because this is twice. Ain't no heat talking about, oh, it was the heat the first time when he was in the Capitol. And then now this time, clearly he's having an issue and he needs to sit his ass down. But not only him, Dianne Feinstein, she needs to sit her ass down too. Mitch McConnell is 81 years old. Dianne Feinstein, I think, is 80 and change. I know they talked about her. I did read that where they was talking about her ass too. She is, how old is she? She 90. I mean, come the hell on. Right. Come the hell on. Take her ass to Shady Pines and let her just chill out along with Mitch McConnell. Take his old ass to Shady Pines because obviously he is glitching and sit him on down the pasture. You got to find somebody in Kentucky that can take old Mitch Turkey Neck, Turtle Head, his place, somebody, or do a special election.
You know they're not going to do that.
No, of course not. Of course not. They're going
Because
to do
those
a
investors
at Bernie's. And you'll be saying, yay, nay, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Because those investors have too much invested, and Mitch is not finished serving.
Right. And then
he doesn't really have anybody in place yet that I could see.
Right. But
that could take his place.
They may wind up losing an extra seat, and they are afraid of that. You know.
Where's Rico the Brat? He could tell us about that hoodoo shit, right? Because I know they. It's like how they keep Mitch. What spell are they using to keep Mitch going?
I don't know.
What kind of roots and berries and shit? Like you said, we get that birdie. They be playing. What music do they be playing? Keep that motherfucker moving.
I don't know, but he is definitely out of here. That's the second time that's happened. It's not going to be a third. The third time that happened, that man's going to collapse.
No, but you know, it'd be one of those things. When he dies, you won't hear about it until maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
They're not gonna let anybody know.
No, they won't let the cat out of the bag for that one. No,
they will not anybody know. But the thing that gets me is how everybody's like, oh, you know, they have very short memories on all the horrific things that he's done.
He's done. Of course, they always do. They always do. It's always about, he was a great.
You should show him some sympathy. Well, I'll show him some sympathy when they toss some dirt on that box.
He was the same person as people were suffering during the former president's whole, this is just nothing. Take some hydrochloroquine and inject yourself with it, or
because remember that was a new word. That was a new word for the week. I think it even made it into Webster's dictionary. Every time I turned around, I was like, "What the hell is that stuff?"
Even with that, or go. What do you say? Something about some fluorescent lights or some
shine a flashlight in your ass.
Right.
You know, Lindsey Graham ran. Lindsey ran. He was like, "Whew."
He's like, I do that all the time.
I got me 100-watt fluorescent bulb. It's all warm.
You know what? I'm not even going there.
It is warm.
It's so crazy that these things are happening. But I mean, again, it's life. You know, these people are not here forever. That's why I don't understand how they are able to stay in all these terms, and these terms are constantly, overlapping with one another while they make billions and billions of dollars. By the time this man dies, he's going to be a very wealthy man. For somebody
dead, he'll be dead.
A couple $100,000 as a base salary for an actual senator. The amount of money he has,
but he is horrific. Him and his wife. Don't forget Connie Chung. Him and his wife.
That's Connie Chung's cousin, don't you not?
Ho Chi Minh.
That's the cousin. But yes, it's just really ridiculous. No, I haven't forgotten all the stuff you do, and karma comes in all types, forms, and fashions, Mr. McConnell. So you just gonna have to deal with.
They showing all this fuck that. I wish I was there because I tell them straight up. It was like, I've kept a list, and I'd run off the list.
Right.
And you
Right.
feel sorry for this man? No, the only thing he can do is make it quick.
That's it.
sound like what's the shit? What's the damn movie? Tiny Tim. When he was telling everybody to hurry up and die so they won't have to run up the bill or whatever. Ichabod Crane. No,
Oh,
not Ichabod Crane. That's the
hurry up
wrong
and
one.
die so they won't run up the bill.
Scrooge. He was Scrooge. That's what that shit reminds me. What he reminds me of.
Yeah,
Everything's fine for him. Oh yeah,
from them spirits.
that motherfucker literally scared the shit out of him because I got splashed. I was like, damn.
Yeah, she even tried to pull him off the podium and he wouldn't. He
Couldn't. He wouldn't move.
So he couldn't move.
Death
that's
got
what
a
we know
hold
was
on
neurological.
you.
Yeah, it was a neurological thing he was having, and they said, "Oh
It
no,
wasn't neurological. That was spiritual.
That it was a little bit of both.
It wasn't Mahalia he heard singing.
No, that wasn't Mahalia, not at all. And speaking of spiritual, the FBI is ramping up their spiritual collection of your spirits. Yeah, when I say spirits, I mean your DNA. They're rivaling China because China collects their people's DNA. I didn't know that they did that, but yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know?
No.
Along with the CCTV cameras all over the place,
Well,
and how the cameras are all linked into.
I did learn that from reading a few articles way back when, but I didn't know that they were actually using DNA as rapidly as they are to link these people. So when you commit a crime and they be like, oh, they didn't leave nothing. If they find a strand of your DNA, they will run it through the database.
And it doesn't even have to be you. It can be a relative of yours that will link you to that crime. When they first started doing that DNA thing and they ran down how it was done, and they didn't have to have a couple of those like old cold cases. Yeah, they went through somebody else's, a relative's DNA to connect that person. Hey, Smart Show, how you doing, sir?
Hey, everybody, welcome. I thought about it, and I was like, see, that's all that ancestry and that 23andMe, all that push for people to be like, oh, I want to know who I'm connected to, and they took that shit and was like,
well, because if you didn't think that those companies were going to not give it to the government,
and then for a hefty price too, quietly on the back end. So far the FBI has amassed 21.7 million DNA profiles. Again, that's 21.7 million DNA profiles. So far.
Patty was saying they ran it through CODIS. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Anytime you go to the hospital or anything, I'm sure that they collect more than blood. They collect more than blood.
Yeah.
So, because it's going to be to the point where you know, if they can actually find more DNA than having two officers walk around combing the place, talking to people. If they find DNA and they find that your DNA is there, how they can connect you, it's a lot easier. So it saves on manpower.
Yeah, that is true.
But who's to say that you were there earlier with somebody else doing a booty call or something, and it's like, then they just fuck up your whole game. Your day is done. You know.
I know. So far, they only have 7% of the U.S. population.
They lying. They lying. You know they lying.
Of course, they trying to make it look bad, but not too bad. But they are aiming. It's like almost when you buy a house, you say a highball number, and then you hope they go down and be like, well, they'll go down, and if they go down, then that's the price that I really want. So I'll just say this, and then they'll be like, okay, well, that's right about right. Well, actually, the FBI said that they're aiming for nearly doubling the amount of specimens. So currently, they on a budget of $56.7 million in the budget to do this whole catalog of DNA collections. They want to add an additional $53.1 million to this budget request for the 2024 fiscal year.
Mhm.
Yeah, hide your spit, hide your
Oh,
everything,
all of your fruit juices,
because they collecting any and everything.
everything. That's right. They sure
Um,
will.
yeah,
Especially
that's
as
crazy.
the government starts to deteriorate and
Right.
you have more dissension. It's a
Mhm.
lot easier to
To run
connect
stuff through. Yeah.
connect people with all of these
Wow.
things that will they're gearing up for the future, pretty much to say.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It is.
Yeah, it is actually CODIS. Yeah, that is the name of it. It's
Go ahead, Patty.
oh,
You
sorry.
bad girl. You bad girl.
But yeah, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But definitely check out that article. It's very informative. And because you need to know, we're battling China. China, China, China.
Hmm.
Who made the program is what I want to know.
Oh, we probably did. Oh, but
Mm,
we probably did, and they probably stole it.
stole it. That's what I think. Stole it.
But
Uh,
half of the stuff that China has, when you get the knockoffs,
right.
it's
It's copies anyway.
it's copied anyway.
Yeah.
We send all the stuff over there. We set up the companies. We
Mhm.
hire the management. Then what the management does is the manager, you have one manager or a couple of them,
Right.
they'll get together and they'll start their own company, which
Right.
is in some abandoned warehouse producing the same product for cheaper.
Mhm.
And that's how you get all these knockoffs. And in a lot of cases, the knockoffs work better than the originals.
In
That's
the
the
original.
sad.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
Yeah. So speaking of the knockoffs, and I just, at this point, I look at everything like, yeah, okay. I guess you're doing it for a particular reason. Election season is coming. So millions of workers could be eligible for overtime pay under this new proposal by the Biden administration. I'm not holding my breath. So there was a rule during the Obama era in efforts that faced pushback from businesses, leaders, and the Republican Party to ultimately which shattered in the courts for labor advocacies and liberal lawmakers. Well, anyway, the proposal regulation is due to unveil to the Department of Labor. This would require employers to pay overtime salaried workers, which knocks a lot of people who just make base pay out the water. Um, Salaried workers who are in an executive, administrative, or professional role who make less than $1,059 a week or $55,000 a year. For full-time employees, the salary threshold is up to about 35,000 level, and that was since 2019 during the Trump administration, which it raised from 23,000. So during basically what this proposal is for those people who don't have base jobs, who are careered or somewhat salary based in a sense, they would be able to get overtime. So when you make salary, you don't get overtime. You just work and you get paid your regular pay. If this law is enacted or this rule, this would allow salaried workers to receive overtime outside of their pay. I don't know how I feel about that. Only because you have regular everyday people working everyday jobs,
Hmm.
hourly jobs that are not salary. So that kicks them out of the equation. But for salaried people, I get it.
Yeah.
Because you do work, although you're salaried and you're capped because you don't get the overtime necessarily for the work that you do. You are working. You find yourself working overtime after hours,
Yeah. Yeah.
doing work, taking work home. Doing all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. You're
uh,
right, Pastor Nate. When a lot of times when you're working, you work a salary position, you lose money.
yeah.
And then you have to reevaluate whether or not it's actually worth you taking that position.
Right.
But you know what? That's why so many people steal.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
steal time. They steal
Still
time.
time. Yeah.
Those are called perks because
Right.
you're not being paid for it. And that's why these people do these things and working weekends and working nights and everything like that.
Yeah.
Calling you at their beck and call.
Right. You don't
Calling you
get
at their beck and
overtime if
call.
you work. You don't get overtime if you work salary. But in this, if this rule is enacted, they will be able to get overtime pay for those who are salaried, as long as you fit the criteria as far as the estimated salary base or your hourly base.
But I think it's a good idea. I bet you one thing, it will make companies look at who's actually doing the work.
Yeah. I
Say,
think it would punish
because
companies.
there's always those ones they always get to do everything, and
Yeah.
the other ones always run out the door. Like I said, stealing time and things like that.
Mhm. Right. I don't know.
hmm
We'll see how it goes if it goes down. I mean, I don't see it going anywhere in the House. If it goes anywhere in the Senate, they're going to kick it back to the House. The House will then have to gut it to some degree so it'll pass, or they'll kick it back to the Senate and the Senate will approve it. I don't know. It may just be football back and forth for a while.
They always gotten
So I don't know.
nothing can ever go through just the way it is. It's a good idea. It works.
No. Well, that's because them damn Democrats, when they do have the majority, they always want to play nice, and instead of just pushing this stuff through when they have the majority, it's always, well, what if they have the power next time? Who gives a damn? You better do what you need to do while you have the opportunity to do it. While you worrying about what
Because
they're going
you may not ever get that chance to do it again.
Right. Exactly.
That's the whole thing. But that and Biden he really needs to start showing
Another
what
one.
it is what he's actually doing, because he's not doing what we're or
another
knocking.
one.
Is he knocking at the door?
You need to start doing whatever you need to do now.
Well,
You
I
don't
told
have
you,
time.
like I
you don't
told you
have
last week. Look, vote him back in, okay? Because we can prop up a corpse. All right, they're doing a good job with Mitch. By time it happened to Joe, because Joe is a little bit more spry. I'm just afraid that he might fall and give himself a concussion.
Yes.
But on some days he just knocking. Let me in. Let me in.
Tripping up and everything. Speaking of knocking,
the differential. Everyone else gets that. Okay. We have that working. Oh no, I was reading what Patty had wrote.
Oh yeah. So speaking of knocking, one of these last stories up, Tim Scott, the Republican out of North Carolina, senator out of North Carolina, Republican senator, and also running for president in the 2024 election year. The GOP donors are concerned that Tim Scott is not married and he's not knocking anybody's boots. And as the Republican Christian man that he is, he should be married with a woman and some children and a wholesome family. And why is he not married? Should I tell him?
Because Lindsay not ready. Lindsay not ready.
Lindsay's ready. He don't want to. I mean, should I tell them or should they just wait? Yeah, Tim Scott. Tim Scott is not betting on the right team. Tim Scott is the girl's girl.
Why are you gonna say he's not batting on the right team? It don't matter.
No, it don't. It don't matter. But for him, what he is projecting
for them,
image of family and
it has family.
Christian. They do.
No, he needs to.
He's projecting. I'm not saying that they don't.
He needs to do like all the TV shows. He'll have a white husband. He'll have a white husband and an Oriental daughter.
No.
And then the family they always put together.
Right. He will have a white wife, or fiance pretty soon. if he makes it past this whole preliminary thing, watch, he's gonna have this white girlfriend that's gonna pop out of nowhere. He's gonna have an adopted kid from Bangladesh somewhere out of nowhere. They're gonna, spruce him up to be the family man that
No,
the
but
Republican
but
Party
you,
needs.
but if Tim was smart, he get himself a pretty dick white woman, a pretty dick white woman.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? So you're all inclusive.
So you just cover all the
All
bases.
the bases, sir. Both bats and balls.
But did we the Democrats had the same issue with what is his face that was dating Rosario?
Oh, Cory Booker.
Cory Booker.
Yeah.
And that just seems so false.
Yeah, I mean,
It just
but
but
they're
I thought
still
she
together. They're still
but
together.
are they? But I thought
Allegedly.
I thought she was bi or
Right.
she
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Mhm.
I mean, because I thought that's why she left her husband.
Yeah. Well, it's easier for women to go back and forth. With men, it's just like you do that one time, you gay. But women, it's like, oh, you had an experience.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, you had an experience, and when can we do it again?
That's all it is. It's like, oh, we had an experience, and it was lovely. Whenever I feel like picking it up again, I'll just pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down. But for men, you don't get that option. You pick it up,
Yeah,
you stuck with it.
because I remember that whole thing with him. It's like, why are you in that's his personal life?
Yeah. I mean, granted,
First of all, I don't see who could stomach him. He would get on he would be like Mike Pence. God.
yeah. I mean, that's what I don't even understand why they're so concerned. He reminds me of somebody like a Mike Pence anyway. He's 57 years old.
At 57, first of all, at 57, he shouldn't be making any babies anywhere.
Right. Who you looking in the marry?
Them things are tarred. They done.
He's 57. Who are you looking in the marry at this point? I can imagine he's had relationships. They just ain't work out. Can't he just be the bachelor single president? Like,
he probably found like most people that don't have children that you actually got some money. You can afford to live. You can actually afford to live.
So I don't know, but I don't know why they're so concerned. But then again, I guess I get it. When you're trying to push this garbage of family values at the same time while you tarnishing your own families, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Oh, and destroying others.
Yeah, well, of course that goes hand in hand.
Maybe you had to just tell him. He said, "I'm a verse bottom."
Yeah, right.
Don't be a power.
Oh,
you'll never get in.
I can be a power. I'm a power in the White House.
And Lindsay's going to be my first lady.
Lindsay's going to be the first lady or press secretary. So
what do they call Kamala Harris's husband?
The first gentleman.
Is he the first gentleman or second gentleman?
Second gentleman, yeah.
The second, okay, and Lindsay will be the first gentleman.
Yeah.
The first power, the first power gentleman.
Not the first power gentleman. I'm not messing with you. But speaking of craziness and power, in Minnesota, a prison has reached a resolution with inmates who refuse to return to their cells because of the heat wave. Now, remember, although we've been, enjoying our summers of somewhat freedom and able to go into air-conditioned places and all that kind of stuff, it is different for a lot of people who are incarcerated. They don't get those same luxuries. So normally in their cells or in the place where they dwell, it is not air-conditioned as the offices of the officers and the warden and all those other places are. So sometimes when it's heat waving, as it has been across the country, a lot of these inmates suffer. Now, granted, you do the time, you do the crime, and nobody's saying it's going to be the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton when you up in there, but there should be some sort of kind of dignity, a little bit. And I just think certain things like having the pandemic and not having adequate health care for the inmates, which caused a huge spread of COVID in prisons, definitely a misstep. Definitely something that definitely needs to be adhered to. The young man who died from bed bug bites and other situations recently, that still silent on that. I haven't heard anything in regards to that case of what's going on there. But the prison system definitely needs a lot of work.
For as much money as they rake in.
Yeah. And free labor. Damn near free.
Right. Right. Because you have to remember those cells, they have small windows. They don't have cross ventilation. They might have vents. Those air conditioning units, who's to say they don't go out? If you have a power failure, you can hang that up.
Yeah.
You're literally, and then you're in concrete, and concrete absorbs heat.
Yep.
And you have no ventilation. Why don't they just let them sleep out in the yard?
I guess they're afraid they're going to what? Run away?
How they going to hop the fence? It's got barbed wire and all that other stuff.
I have no idea. But that was my question.
But check on your family and friends.
Yeah.
You know, we all have them.
Do that.
You know, just touch touch base with them. How you making out in there with this thing going on? Because just because you don't hear from them doesn't mean something's not going on.
That part is true.
And nobody deserves that type of torture for doing something stupid like public urination or stealing a car.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Because they're not. It's not federal.
They'll throw us in jail for the slightest little thing and think it's okay that they do so. Yeah, I think that was it. That's all I had. It was pretty light.
It was light.
Yeah, it's pretty light today. So yeah, that was all I had on the news front. And right after these few little tidbits of break, we'll be back with some updated YouTube mess and garbage. So, like song about it, like to hear it go. So first, of course, if you're looking for me anywhere on these social things, you can find me here. Do that one first. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Okay. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today, but we're just going to work on it. I don't know. Glitching all day. All right. So, anyway, here we go with this old stuff. Let's get it.
Who cooking that? And who's cooking that?
I don't know who's cooking that.
Then who's cooking? And who's going to eat that?
Who's going to eat that is the question.
Hey, Tanari, how you doing, baby cakes? How you doing?
What's going on, Tanari? Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by or dropping down from your penthouse skybox. Thank you. So let's get into these things. So much stuff to talk about, so little time. All right, so the big thing that happened this past weekend, of course, when we left you all, we talked about the macaroni cheese challenge, which was the cheese and noodle.
Really, when they hand out that government, they use a lot of cheese.
Yeah, constipation. Constipation is the.
Ooh, I hate to be there. Ooh, stop them throwing up.
Hopefully somebody's taking
Roto-Rooter, that's the name.
Just clogged. And maybe that's why they're a little angry, because they're so backed up.
Yeah, ain't nothing worse.
Yeah.
You all bloated.
Yeah. So now, this past Friday, there was the lasagna challenge. Now, the lasagna challenge had contestants, and sorry if I don't remember everybody, but I know there was a grandma from a different sector who came late to the competition because there were things going on. So let's go back first, okay? So there was like this pre gaming kind of thing where people were making their sauce, of course, because during the macaroni challenge, for those of you who have watched it, I guess they were asking Brie because she was a judge if she liked macaroni and cheese. She said no, she didn't like it like that or make it. She liked stuff like lasagna or whatever. So that's how the whole thing was. Oh, well, we'll have lasagna challenge and you'll be in it since you like to make the lasagna, right? So of course, when I even heard that, red flags went up for me because I'm like, well, that's your friend. That's your quote unquote bestie. That's your best friend. Why would you have a competition for money on your on your best friend's platform? You're there, and then who's going to be the judge of some more of your friends? Like it wasn't sitting well with me. But I said, well, whatever. We'll see how this goes. So of course, we fast forward to the date of the competition, and of course, there is a sauce making uh, uh, episode or time for people to get their sauces together because they need 4 hours to make their homemade. This is the keywords and phrases for today.
Who cooks four
Homemade,
hours to make a sauce?
no, but homemade and what was the other one? From scratch. Now, somebody please, and don't everybody all at once, tell me what is the difference between homemade and made from scratch. Last time I checked, it's the same damn thing. But but apparently for these people, it was two different things. And for a lot of people, it was two different things, which I was totally mind blown, like boom, makes no sense. But anyway, so we get to this people making their sauce. Now, mind you, it was only two content creators making sauce, Brie and another content creator, I believe. What is her name? What is her name? What is her name? It escaped me, but it should come back to me. Well, there was only two content creators really making sauce. The other ones didn't know about it. Okay. They didn't learn about it till later. And by that time they were already 2 to 3 hours into making their quote unquote sauce. Okay. Now, one person who said they made homemade sauce, I seen the jar pour and heat. So we were just taking 4 hours to simmer sauce. That's crazy.
That's called scorch.
It's called burnt as shit. Your sauce was burnt and it probably tastes nasty because who's cooking any jarred sauce that long? That's crazy.
I
So
tell them one thing: they better be careful because Wick find out you fucking up all that cheese, they gonna cut you off.
well, I mean that's if you on it, That's if you on it. They may not be on it. Who knows?
The way they be cooking up cheese the past couple weekends.
I have no idea. But what I did find a little disconcerting is that some of the judges did pop on to the panel as they were making their pre thing, which I thought for future, if you're going to do this, kind of look at the competition cooking shows that are on TV. The judges are nowhere near when these people are like prepping their stuff. You need to be like not there. The judges don't need to be there. If they're watching, then let them watch like everybody else is watching. But they, as far as participating, no, that's really not a time where you participate. Because even one of the judges, I think it was Lady Nico, was like, oh, I'm going to give you extra points for your sauce making and all of the things that you're putting in your sauce. How are you doing that when there's only two contestants here and it's supposed to be like 4 or 5? That's unfair. The fact that even came out of your mouth was already suspect. Like, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well at all. But so that happened, and then some of the other contestants came. It was Demetria Lit All Day, who was a contestant. I said Brianna was a contestant. Granny Lady from another sector, she was a contestant. Of course, MU was a contestant, aka Chrissy. Was a contestant. Her and her titties were a contestant on the goddamn show. Not that I have
all three of them.
All three of them. Not that I have a problem with it, but when I just looked at took a back seat and just looked at it in hindsight. I'm like, here's a sector with straight men, straight women, 2% straight men, and like a good 15-20% gay men. Who is looking at your titties? Unless there's some closeted women and some, people that just like to look at titties. But she literally, had it all like, hey, hey, and everything was like, oh, oops, how do you do this? And what do you do this? And I'm just like, really like, okay, are we putting on this is a competition. Like, I get it. But at the same time, if you come to compete, you come knowing what you're doing. Like, who just gets on a cooking thing and think, oh, I'm going to win some money. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to shoot my shot anyway. That's a bit much, but it is what it is. I just was like, girl, get over it. So speeding past to people getting stuff cooked and done, right? So everybody was supposed to like show their dish and then present, because of course we're not eating it. We can only see it. So as far as the rules that people started making up later about people getting disqualified because they dropped some cheese on the floor or they did this and did that, I'm like, first of all, those are ground rules that should have been set way before. You can't try to make ground rules as it's happening to disqualify people from something that, again, you're not tasting, you're just looking at. So it'd be different if you were tasting it, somebody dropped something, you're like, oh, I can't eat that, or it's undercooked, I can't eat that. It has to look presentable. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you got. Because, I mean, to be truthfully honest, my thought would be, if we're going to disqualify people for not, say, like, oh, you didn't wash your hands, that's their nasty ass. I'm not eating their food, and I know not to eat anything from their house. Oh, that person dropped the cheese, they should be disqualified. People put their food in dirty ass ovens. If you were really paying attention, some of them people's ovens were disgustingly dirty, and they put food in it. They didn't disqualify them from doing
That
it.
was a secret spice.
You're right. It made the stuff taste good. I don't know. It's like it's got extra seasoning in it. I don't. It's like it's I don't know. It was crazy. But so then that happened. So everybody showed their dish except some people. Everybody showed it coming out of the oven. Brianna did not. She did real quick, but it was real dark. So she cut it. It's made herself a plate and then plated another piece to show, right? She didn't win. It came like fourth or fifth, but hers was dark. I mean, there's no tea, no shade. It was dark. There was other people's that wasn't dark. They may not have held up, but visually they didn't look like that. And it's like, granted, you may have left it in too long. Maybe the stuff you used might have contributed to it coming out kind of dark. I don't know. Who knows? All I know is it didn't look all that great. So with that, we go into the I can't believe I can't keep forgetting this lady's name. It was Granny somebody, but she came late to the competition because she had an issue with her house, so she went to her daughter's house to then join in the competition to make the food. Not only did she leave her house, she left with the ingredients, all of the stuff, set up everything, still wind up cooking, making food in time to complete the competition, right? She wind up winning. Why did she win? A lot of factors. She wasn't in her place of residence. She did not have the time to do all this prepping for sauce and all this other kind of stuff. She just made it, cooked it, and it came out well presentable. My top two, if there was, because it was a winner take all, so there was no 1, 2, and 3, but my top two would have been her, the granny lady, or Demetra. That lady just came in there late as all get up. They were at least an hour and change already in between the competition. The lady just showed up and was like, hey, I thought it was supposed to start this time. Nobody told me. Then I had to leave and go do this and whatever. So she joined in the competition and was able to still push through a full lasagna that stood up and didn't flop like a lot of people's did. Let's be honest. It was like soup. I didn't. I was like, okay, and so she won. She won the pot of, I think it was $420. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, I know, right? And
he,
then just imagine
he could buy
if
more,
if if four
more
hundred and
cheese.
twenty dollars was collected for the pot, imagine how much the pot holder received, right? So $420 for some dropped cheese ain't that bad. Now some people did have a little
She
bit.
cheated. Extra spice on the floor. She cheated.
She cheated. She had extra spicy cheese. So some people did, feel a way about the granny lady winning because she wasn't, one, from the sector, and two, there was this whole thing of she dropped the cheese on the floor, she should have been disqualified. Well, again, like I said, people we're not eating it. So if that wasn't a criteria in the rules, then why
You
make
know,
it
she threw that shit. She threw that shit in the can.
right?
You
Why
know, she was like, "Ooh, made my money."
right?
As soon as,
Why,
as soon
why
as,
do we
that,
need to
as
make
soon as her
that?
cash app rang,
Yeah, like why do we need to make that an issue?
that shit
That's
was in
not
the.
set
As soon as
as a
she clicked that
ground
camera
rule.
off, that shit was in the can and wrapped tight so the cats don't get in it.
I'm not playing with you. Why not even make that an issue? Because it shouldn't be an issue. You make ground rules in the beginning and you don't deviate from those ground rules. That was not a ground rule. It was supposed to be what it looked like. If you wanted to see what the person made or its sauce or the different items people use, then okay. But we did not know what the rules were or what the criteria of the judgment was. People were kind of like flying by the seat of their pants with the judging decisions on what they were judging and all that kind of stuff. So with that, good job for Demetria to come in second place for me, even with her little Chef Boyardee little get up outfit. I thought it was nice. It had a little D with some rhinestones on it. She was dressed ready to serve,
Oh,
and she,
another another lucrative scam. Is this what we're looking at
I
now?
mean, and that's a whole other thing. Like people got upset because people should have won first, second, and third. But it's a show you're watching. The people have their cash apps up there. If you feel like the person that you were, banking on should have won, then cash app them. It's just
Yeah.
that simple. You cash app them and say, "Good job. I wish you would have won." Blah blah blah. Here's a couple of dollars. Whatever. I get all outraged and to be gunning for people like I'm so upset. This not because your friend didn't win. Come on, like that's really childish and it's not sportsmanlike. You can
But we
congratulate,
are talking about YouTube, though.
right? But you don't need to. For one, somebody not participating, you don't need to be that invested. You didn't do it. You didn't. It wasn't your ingredients. You didn't participate. You didn't. It had nothing to do with you. You were a spectator like everybody else. For you to be that upset and invested is a bit much. Like
How you know I didn't let her use my card to get that cheese?
if you did, that's on you. And if she did, that's on her. But I just felt like there was way too much investment for something so for something so minute. Like, don't do that. Don't act like that. Don't really act like that. If there will be another competition, everybody did well. I mean, but if we were going like nitpicking on people and things or what things look like, then yeah, a lot of people should have been disqualified because people had food in their nails, okay, while they were making food and they put gloves on, but you already got sauce and cheese and shit under your nail already. So you put the gloves on, it's like what? You've already
They're
contaminated.
cheating. They cheating. They cheating. They got extra spicy flavors under them dirty ass nails.
So you've already contaminated whatever it was. So it's like a lot of that stuff, it wasn't making sense to me. Like, why are we sitting here? But you talked about the woman dropping the cheese, but nobody talked about the lady making the lasagna rolls and her nails had sauce and cheese and shit under it. Then I guess when she realized, oh, I got all this stuff under my nails, she put gloves on to
Cheater,
continue
cheater.
to
She was
roll.
doing this. She was
But she
licking it off like that.
but she never washed her
People
hands.
didn't. People
Put the
didn't
gloves
see anything. It was
right. But then it's like, I'm not
I'm
eating
so
it.
over it.
So I really don't kind of care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was gross to me, but I'm not eating it. It was funny, but I'm not eating it. So it's like, I didn't really care. All I cared about was what it looked like. And when you cut it, if it stood up, you got a point from me. If it dropped and was just like, kind of goulash in the thing, and you talking about you see
Soupy.
the noodles, you see the layers. Yeah, I see it, but it's not standing. It's
Yeah, it's not supposed.
it's not supposed to do this.
It's not a stew.
Right.
It's not a stew.
It's like lasagna soup. Like, what are we eating? Like, no, it needed to stand up. So I think a lot of people were more embarrassed because they talked a good game prior to, and that's why you shouldn't talk. You should just be quiet.
No, you know what they should have? They should do a gumbo. They should do a gumbo.
I mean, I don't
Because you look at some gumbo, it's like, what the fuck? Who? I thought I saw an eye in there. What is it?
I don't think a lot of people even. Well, I know probably a lot of East Coast people wouldn't even know how to make it too much. That's not something regular. But I don't know. I know one thing. I don't want to see it every Friday. Because then it's starting to really look like, because what it's honestly starting to look like, and it's just me viewing it on the outside, just looking at that it was a way to collect without.
Well, just do it once a month.
Yeah, I mean,
do it once a month.
That I could see, and it gives it a little more breathing time to where it doesn't look like you using this as a come up. Because right now, to repeat back to back like that, and if you were to do enough. It's a repeat because what you're doing is you're capping off the winner, right? But you're still collecting because people are still giving, whether they're giving, saying this is going to the pot. If you already cut the pot off at a certain amount, who's to say when you received that certain amount that you, and if you did receive that for the pot and people still sent pot money, did you send it back? I know you didn't. So that means you collected. And that's 2 times you done did that and collected. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you've done enough. You need to chill out for a bit and then maybe do it.
That or now do bake a cake or something.
Oh, she might win on that. She likes pound cake, so she might win on that. But then again, I don't think that as them being friends, you had Lady Nika, a judge. You had it on Pizarro's channel. Y'all all friends. Why you? No, y'all should not be. There should be no friend like that close on.
Yeah, true.
In the competition.
To be neutral. You have enough people in your chat that they could be. You can find neutral people.
Yeah, it could be anybody. If y'all want to do, if she wants to.
Not only that, when you do the judging, make it anonymous. Then that way, there's no repercussion. There's no repercussion.
Let it be a random person that judges, or random people that judge. A Food Junkie was a judge. He took his role seriously. He had a whole shirt and tie and everything. I was like, okay, I didn't think it was that serious. But King Roman was also a judge, and Lady Nika. It was interesting. I just, certain things I just, I just didn't. It just on appearances, it didn't give a good vibe. As to the setup was concerned, I think for next time, let the host just interact with the contestants and the judges. If you're going to have a pre-show, the judges don't need to be in the pre-show, and all of the contestants need to know about the pre-show, not just a select few. And no friends. If you're going to do friends, then y'all need to do a competition amongst
yourselves.
If you're going to make it content creators, then just make it particular content creators. Or if it's just going to be like your friends, then just do your friends competing against each other on whatever baking dish. But it shouldn't be where one of the friends is in here competing, because it don't look cool. It don't look cool because it could be taken as a setup. It could be taken as a setup. And you want to make sure everything is.
And you know how we are around here.
Yeah. And you want to make sure everything is clear above board. So I don't know. Yeah, so I hope people aren't mad or upset, even though some people were very upset. And it was just like, girl, but it was burnt though. I mean, that's not
They call the police on people. They're gonna go to court. They're gonna take people
no,
to
they were
court
just
next.
like really, really mad. Like just like really mad. And it's just but it wasn't again, we're going visual. We can't eat it. So it's all on visual. So if you do happen to overcook it where it's slightly
And
burnt,
actually, a lot of y'all don't need to eat it.
you didn't need to be cooking it in the first place. I thought even you cooking it was kind of like, who else is gonna eat that? Nobody's gonna eat that but you. And being that you already, trying to better yourself and better your health by doing what you're doing, why would you do that to yourself? Knowing good and goddamn well you're the only one that's gonna eat it. And I'm not even trying to be funny. It's just being truthful. You're the only one that's gonna eat that shit, and I don't mean to make you laugh. That's why you cough it. You're the only one that's gonna eat that shit because you are the only one there. Nobody's coming over to eat that lasagna. It was already 11, 10 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night by the time they finished. You had already started eating slices of the lasagna while people were still waiting for theirs to come out the oven.
That's the best time to eat it.
So
3 o'clock in the morning, especially when all those spices settle in.
It was crazy. I just could not it was just like, come on, like don't do it. Don't do it. Do something else. Do something else. Yeah. Like no. So, I guess, you talk like, oh, I can cook, I can whip this up, or I make the best, and it kind of looked like, womp. And not to be, I thought, okay. And not to be, you didn't need to stop. I did. I muted myself. Okay, I got it. I'm back. All right. So then I thought to myself, like, honestly, you're a big girl. You probably could cook your ass off, right? So I was really expecting, like, she throw down, she eat. I mean, I'm skinny, but I like to eat. I like to eat. So I was like, ooh, she gonna burn. She gonna really like get it. She burned, but not in a good way. So that was kind of like, oh. I felt like Tyra Banks. Like I was rooting for you. I thought she was gonna be like, yeah, I'm a big girl and I can throw down in the kitchen. And it's like, womp womp. No, you can't. So then I realized like, oh, you probably do a lot of eating out or ordering out, takeout, and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, oh. But other than that, I mean, it was a decent competition for what it was. I don't know. Other than that, moving right along from that, of course, I think like that was pretty much about it. Villanor and Misunderstood have now parted their ways, which I just feel like, like, everybody's, there's a season and a reason for everything. And, sometimes people move on and things go on and you move on. I don't know if this is going to be a back and forth drag out kind of situation. I don't know. But apparently somebody must have it out for Miss V because they found some of her old court documents. And I think they are
Oh, Lord.
to go spewing them out across these YouTube streets, allegedly. So, yeah. And it's, it's sad when people do that and you just don't leave it at wherever it is and just going about your business. But I don't know. Yeah, that's what I say too, Tanari. Oh Lord. But it's just about being adult. Like granted, we all do things or have done things that we're not necessarily proud of, but it's all about how you get up and move forward from those things. And who are we to be ones to be throwing stuff up in people's faces that they have overcome?
Well, like when Mad Day comes along.
Yeah. That part is true. That part is always true.
And it's always somebody's always mad around on YouTube.
Yeah, they are all the time. all the time, all the time.
Then don't come and play. Yes, that's what I
Yeah,
say. Don't come and play. Good God.
yeah, definitely don't. But in other news, the uh, Juicycation 2023-25 is fastly approaching. For those of you going on the trip, I think at the end of this month. Uh,
Mm,
guys have a good time. But yeah, I think it is towards the end of the month.
it's coming up. Y'all be
September
safe.
25th. Yeah, it's coming up. Be safe, and definitely with tropical storm season rolling about. Hopefully, it doesn't rock the boat. No pun intended. With people
But
on
no
it.
pineapple. Stay away from pineapples. Get
Oh
caught up
Lord.
in something. Cause I don't
Mm.
want to see them. I don't want to see those pictures up on X.
No, thank you.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so I mean that's all I got. That's all I got. That is all I got. As far as shows, I've been watching The Wheel of Time. That is back for season
That's
2
right.
on
Back on.
Prime. Big Brother, I caught up and been watching everything on Big Brother. That has been a crazy season. I still can't believe that white man said the N word like that and thought nothing of it. Like, you really didn't think the motherfuckers were gonna cancel you after saying that?
They just walked him out the house, right?
Literally, they called him downstairs like, and bring your stuff
Mm-hmm.
from the loudspeaker. Like, soon as he said, they ain't wasting no time. The one man was like, "Oh, I didn't hear it. No, Negro, you heard it. You heard it." The one white man, he heard it, but of course they always. I didn't hear anything because they didn't want to, be like included in it. But he heard it. He was standing right there when the man said it. It wasn't like he said it
I thought
and
they
they
said
were kind of
Nigeria.
walking away. Um, he said it, and then that's when they like looked, and then they kind of walked away. Only the young white kid was really like, "Oh, what you said it for?" The old white gay man looked and just instantly heard him say it, and just turned around like, "Da da 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 da." I was walking out. I didn't hear anything. No, you heard him. That's why you turned around and walked away.
Kind of walked away. Hmm.
Because y'all was standing there. Y'all was standing there talking about something, and he just, because I came over my, and the black dude just sitting there like, wow, he really just said that on national
Yeah,
TV. Like, yeah, because he felt that comfortable in saying it. And granted, I
insane.
think too, he said it too because it's going to be news. He may not want to be there, he may have wanted to leave anyway, but he wanted to do something that would, get
Yeah,
him
because he would still have to make his rounds.
yeah,
People will want to interview him for whatever reason,
right, right,
and he'd
right.
want and he's going to make his rounds.
Yeah. Uh, and they evicted him next. Who did they evict? They evict. You talking about the white guy that said the N word? They evict. Oh, the white gay guy. Yeah, they got him good. They got him good. Oh, he just thought he was like the bee's knees. He really just thought, oh, I'm just gonna. Yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and we're gonna do this, and then this is the next person we're going after. First of all, it's not your game. You can't make people play your game because you think you're smarter than everybody because you happen to be the doctor that you're going to have them play your game and get the people you want out. That's not happening. Um, the black woman from Survivor, her and her son are on this episode together. And that's kind of interesting watching her look at her son kind of get into this kind of showmance with one of the contestants, and she be over in the corner like not trying to like give it away that she's like looking at him like that, but she'd just be so like, oh, I wish he would stop it with her because it could mess up his game. Yeah, the gay guy, he did get evicted next, and that was a sweet one. I like that one because he didn't know it was coming at all. He was so blindsided, he didn't know what to do because they waited. They didn't do it. Normally they do it at the time where they name the nominees, so somebody has a chance to win the power of veto to get themselves off the block. But nope, they waited till that was done, and then somebody won the power of veto who was on the block, removed themselves, and then they put him on. And his name was Heyman. He was so he was like, what? That shit was so hilarious. I can't stand her son. I can't either. He doesn't really have the drive that his mother has for this game. He's been around it for a long time, so he's familiar with it, but he doesn't play like her. He's very much kind of playing his own game. But that will become very hard to play when you have to pick off people that are not expendable. Right now you got a couple of expendable players that you can knock off, but when it starts to get a little tight, he's gonna have to either pick up his game or he's gonna be going bye-bye, because I believe his mother is gonna be like, I love you, but I need to win this money. And I think she may just send him home her damn self, because she's about that game. When she gets playing, she's serious about her game. So I don't know. Yeah, her son is gonna ruin her game. Yeah, he is. He already told the one lady that he was related to somebody in the house, and it's crazy that they can't look at. But they always say we look alike anyway. But you can look at them too and kind of tell that they are related. The one white lady, she noticed it instantly. She's like, oh, I know, because she follows his mother on her Instagram, so she done seen pictures of him on her Instagram. So she's holding the secret, and she's like, I'm gonna use it against him later, and all this kind of mess. But it's just an interesting show to watch. I do hope someone black wins this time, because it always seems to be. And even in that, speaking of someone black winning, and I don't know if you noticed that, Patty Duke, but when the space cowboy, he calls himself, when he decided to make a final group of individuals to go all the way to the end, wasn't nobody black in his group. Nobody at all. He had picked everybody black and brown and yellow off. It was straight everybody white in his whole entire team. I'm not saying that makes him a racist because of that, but if you just think about the mindset of people when you're playing a game and you tell, oh, I don't see color. How could you not? Because you would be like, oh, well, then I want to see this person and that person with me in the final four. The fact that all the people that you picked happen to look like you is a mindset that this is what you're comfortable with going to this final stage of winning. Everybody else, I don't see them. Like, I want to see us kind of proceed and win, and not them. So I thought that was interesting. I really thought that was interesting. I really thought that was cool. There's a deaf athlete. He's a swimmer. He's in the house as well. He's really cool with the survivor. I can't think of the lady's name, but the survivor, the mom, she's really cool with her, and he tells her a lot of the stuff that goes on in the quote unquote white circle about what he plans to do and who he plans to get rid of. So they're building a bond, which I think is really cool. Yeah, he's in a Black Alliance with them as well. Yeah, but that other alliance they created, the 25, they just created that to keep the space cowboy and the other redneck so they can watch them and decide on what they're going to do. But I definitely think it's the circle. Yeah, the circle alliance. Yeah. See color and everything. Yeah, I mean, they really do see color and everything. That's why when they talk that bullshit, I don't see color. He immediately, when he was like, this is the final, people were still in the house. Like, a lot of people were still in the house. This is the final group I see going. Me, you, this, and that. And I'm looking around like, ain't nobody black in that group. Not one person? You don't see one person black in that group. Okay. Because it ain't athleticism, because a lot of them weren't even athletes. The one white girl skipping around there, she wasn't athletic at all. They wanted to booting her ass out, but she wasn't athletic at all. So I didn't understand, like, what are you gonna do? But I don't know. We'll see. They might let a black person win just because homeboy said the N-word on national TV, so they don't get no flack. Who knows? But I will be watching to see. Let's see.
Haven't they learned by now that the N-word is like kryptonite?
Yeah, it is. For some reason, it is for them in the TV space, but the reality is they use it in private spaces. That's how it's so easy to slip out. Because he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean it like that." I didn't really mean it like that. And it was just like, but how does that just slip out of your mouth like that? Just because he happens to be black, like y'all homeboys, you just met him. That's 3 days in. It was 3 or 4 days in, if that.
Yeah, you should not be that comfortable.
No way. No way. You're that comfortable because that's what you use. That's how you speak. He said, "Oh, well, I'm used to it because some of the white friends I hang around say," but that shouldn't be acceptable though. Like nobody should ever feel that comfortable doing that. And I just don't get it. I don't even understand the word and its usage, even in rap music and all that kind of stuff, because then that just kind of gives them the crutch to say it because they feel like, oh, it's in the lyric. I just, like the one, I think he's a YouTuber or a TikToker or whatever, he got in trouble because he was repeating the lyrics that he was listening to and realized that he said it on live, and he started like, oh, and cursing and throwing shit. They wind up getting rid of a lot of his videos because it was this big thing because he said the N-word. Now, mind you, he was just repeating the lyrics off of music he was listening to and forgot he was on live as he was doing this because he was doing something else. But at the same time, like, but why do we even have that? There's other things you can use. Be a wordsmith and find something else to use so we can stop using that. Like, when do we come together and say, you know what? All right, let's stop doing this. Let's stop doing that. Just because, granted, yeah, I get it. We can take something and reverse it and make something out of nothing, right? To make it powerful or whatever. But why do we always have to do that and then kind of make spaces for other things like places where, well, it's in the music. Well, why can't we just nip that in the bud? Like, okay, it's not in our music anymore. It's not here. It's not there. Stop using it, because the minute you use it, you will get dropped. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what you say. What did you say? I don't know. I can't see it. This thing is working mad slow. They corrected young Hispanic boy at the gas station last week because he called the U.S. a slur. And then personal. That's crazy. And that's another thing. They use it too.
Oh, yeah.
You got Ramaswamy over here acting like, he's a good old boy.
They call each other nigga.
Yeah.
And I think that is so funny when I first saw it.
Like, he a good old boy, and you're like, dude, you do know you brown, right? Now, granted, I know they let y'all believe that, as long as y'all stimulate and you got straight hair, and it's okay that you happen to be brown, but you're brown with a dot and not brown with a feather, or you're, all these kind of different stipulations that they allow them to feel like they're a part of the group. When at the same time, when you're not in their spaces, they don't like you either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they sure don't.
And they're just using you. And the fact that you go along, kind of holding up their banner of bullshit to go after immigrants when your parents are immigrants or your grandparents are immigrants. There ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me that you're 3 and 4 generations of United States citizens. I don't even buy that shit. Not with the last name of Ramaswamy. No, thank you. Not buying it.
No, especially when your parents' accent is so thick, you can't even understand them.
Right. Thank you. Come again. No 7-Eleven. Ding. Hello. Can I help you? No way. I'm not buying it. Not buying it at all. And the fact that you think you buying it because you can brashly talk and you have something, so you think white people are being accepting. No, they're using you. Just like they use anybody else if they feel like, oh, well, Trump's in a tight spot. If he doesn't get elected, who can we use that would shine towards people of quote unquote color, that look like him? It's a reverse. The same thing they did with putting Kamala on the ticket. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's that in reverse on the Republican side. And he happens to be a male who believes a lot of the stupid, dumb shit that his party believes in. And they'll utilize anybody. If they let black men who support Trump walk around with niggers for Trump on t-shirts and okay with that, then goddamn, they'll be okay with a lot of shit that a normal person would be like. And granted, you could support Trump, but why would you have to have a shirt that says niggers for
That
Trump?
says that. That says that.
And why would any sensible white person say, hey, I don't mind you, I'm all for you being a Republican like me and supporting Trump like I do, but don't do that. You don't need to put that. You can put blacks for Trump or da-da-da Trump, but don't walk around with that shirt, niggers for Trump. I don't think that's right. They ain't gonna do that because they think it's right. They all for it.
It's right.
It's right. It's right. They are all for it. So quit me with the bullshit. Quit.
So you have a lot. You have a lot to say, Sonari.
Yeah, I do. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand it. You have a lot to say, just say it. It's okay. I can drop the link. We got time. Did that really happen? What really happen? The N-word? What part? The t-shirt?
Oh yeah. That was
really
real. Yeah. Yeah, that was on the and it was on the news.
The man was walking around. He had the shirt that said "niggers for Trump," and he said, "I'm proud. I'm wearing it. Da, 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 da. I support him because they're trying to put him in jail. They put constant black men in jail. He was part of putting black men in jail. What do you mean? He was a part of that. He hasn't changed. He's the same person that wanted them 5 children executed for a crime they did not commit. And stayed in jail for umpteen years till they were exonerated as full grown ass men. Yeah. So I mean,
and you know what they should have done? They should have taken out. They should have taken out
a full ad
saying the same exact thing.
As a matter of fact, the paper should have done it for free just because they let him do it for free because he didn't pay for that full page ad that he put out there on paper.
He sure did.
Yeah, but mental illness, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of mental whatever. And then now the whole thing is, black men are supporting him because he has a mugshot. Come on, y'all. We've got to stop letting these people think that we are just as dumb as dog shit, that the slightest little gold nugget or trinket or thing that sparkles will get us to go jump and go, ooh, it's so pretty. Like, cut the shit. Cut the shit. I really don't get it. If it's one thing to like a person's policies, but let's be very clear. What policies did Trump himself actually have? I'll wait. I will wait. And I'm not even being funny. It's dead serious. He had no policies or no plan. His whole thing was to disrupt anything that was already laid down. So everything that was already set in stone, he just removed it altogether. That's all he did.
Yeah, he is the deconstructor.
Yeah,
because that's all he did was dismantle and destroy everything, all the gains that has taken decades.
That is all he did. And as far as the historically black colleges and university funds, they had a timeline. They were always on a timeline for a certain amount of years to receive funds. All he did was to ensure that he may get more black votes come the next election was push up the time date. So he pushed up their money. So they got money sooner. And thank you. He didn't really do anything but push up the timeline of when they were supposed to receive the money. So, for example, if they received money every 15 years, he pushed it up, sped it up an extra 5 years. Okay, now it's on the 5th year. Here, y'all get the money now. He knew exactly what he was doing. Well, the orchestrators knew exactly what he was doing. It was to ensure that he got more black vote when the next election came around. That's all. Then he can say, look what I did for the blacks. Look what I did for the blacks. Trust me, anybody that always talks to refer to black people as blacks, I always have a problem with. Always. Because they're just saying that because they can't say the other word, which they're more comfortable saying. That's why they sound so weird saying, look what I did for the blacks. I'm doing this for the blacks. Look, for the blacks, for the black colleges and their colleges and universities. I don't get it, but yeah. So I don't know, but just absolutely crazy. But I'm done. I think. Any
It's,
movie?
no, I'm trying to watch the last voyage of the Demeter. Trying to watch that.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it too. I got to watch it again. I don't know. There's a lot of things flying around and people and things of that nature. I was kind of like,
Did you see that? You saw that clip about the vampire. If there's more life in semen than there is in blood, why don't
yeah.
why don't vampires?
Why is vampires suck
I was
dick?
like,
Was it suck dick? I didn't see the last
yeah,
part.
yeah, and yeah, and they said what?
There's more blood in semen than there is in
No, more life. If there's
in
more
semen.
life in semen than there is in blood, why don't vampires suck dick? When I was like,
Really?
really? I was like,
Yeah, that's what I was really stuck onto.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, why?
That's ain't playing with nothing outside of Black Love and Lives. Yeah, no, she's really not. Y'all watching the Renaissance Tour? No, I haven't been watching the Renaissance Tour. Just like little clips. Apparently for her birthday, Diana Ross showed up.
Mm-hmm.
For her birthday and was on
Yeah,
stage.
Diana Ross' feet must be bad. You see them boots?
Yeah.
And she was having a hard time in that gown walking down them steps.
She was indeed.
But I tell you one thing, I don't know who her makeup person is, because if you ever seen Diana Ross now, you would never know it was Diana Ross.
Wow.
But they do a lot of. I mean, she's much older now.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you know what I hate to see? I hate to see our singers, especially in certain generations, as they get older and their voices are starting to go.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, it makes me sick.
But too, I just wish they would just like Diana Ross. You're like 70 plus years old. You don't have no jet black hair, and it ain't that full. Not at that age.
Yeah, I like the ones that. I think the only one I've ever seen,
like
Nancy Wilson. She went gray.
Yeah, right. Just
who's Patty Austin? She's gone gray after she got a gastric bypass. She shouldn't have got a gastric bypass.
Like even Gladys Knight, she went and did all that knife surgery stuff and had her face pulled, and now all of a sudden it's back to looking like.
But she was saying it was a certain hairstyle she was wearing, and you know when you used to have your locks, you know you could snatch 10 years off of motherfucker. You pull them shits tight enough. Before you know it, it's like you got some Oriental in your blood.
He's like,
and
I just got my hair done.
You ever had pulled so tight gave you a headache?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, you know that. But she did. She had a certain hairstyle she always wore, and it did because it. You know, you get kind of everything's kind of pulled up and out, back and up.
Hold on, like girl, you don't have no jet black hair no more, girl. Let that go. And it ain't that full. And
well, it wasn't that full when she was that young.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like now at this point,
especially would not stand up like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like don't do that. Like be as natural as you can at your age. You've earned it. Then there you was married to a man that you wasn't even with that was a billionaire. He wound up dying and leaving you all that money. You don't even got to really sing no more. So what does it matter?
Well, she can still sing. I mean, that's what she loves to do.
I'm saying she loves.
Oh, you mean money wise?
To do it, yeah. She doesn't have to do it at all.
Yeah,
she's doing it just to have something to do. The BET deal. Yeah, of course we talked about the BET deal with Tyler Perry falling through, and that's probably to do with Viacom, of course, because they wanted to definitely probably take the most viable shows from BET and probably leave him with nothing, and he probably wasn't. He was like, if I don't have this, and that, I don't want it.
Not only that, they wanted more money for it than what was being asked.
That part too.
And that's really not the way you're supposed to do business. Nope. If it was so many billions of dollars.
If you had somebody on the plate to buy it, why would you then turn around and go, okay, well now since you're serious about buying it, are we going to these final calls? How about we sweeten the pot again? Instead of $2 million, I want $3 million. Or billion or whatever it was.
No, I would have told them that's okay. I'll make some more Medea movies. Goodbye.
How about that's okay? I'll make my own channel to rival all that. Because that's
instead of salvaging already a channel that has
established
gone
channel,
through so many.
the
Of course,
rigor
now you have to get now, yeah, because everybody's had their hands on it. It's
right,
spoiled.
right.
You
And
know,
then of course they want
it's like
to.
lasagna. Everybody drops a piece on the floor. You know, and it ain't want all them flavorings in it.
Oh
So you might as
man,
well just sometimes, because a lot of things you just need to just go ahead and start from scratch.
right, right,
And I
true.
think that that's what he should do.
Hello,
Hey, lady, how are
Hey,
you?
hey, hey, hey,
hey,
my
what's going
two handsome
on?
gentlemen. How are you guys?
You make me blush. You make me choke again.
Oh, don't choke again.
How are you?
I am good, and both of you guys.
You're doing well.
Very well,
Well, I'm
thank
doing
you.
That's
well.
okay.
Yes, I'm
So,
good.
did you guys speak about the tourism and the ships leaving and everything else in Florida because of the Santos with the blacks, the Latinos, and the LGBT, the
Yeah,
community?
alphabet.
The
No,
Yeah.
children.
I did not hear
Oh,
anything
so
about that.
oh, okay.
So
So
please
then,
do.
oh, so I should have sent you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a few really really big hotels in Florida right now
Hmm.
that all leave from ports.
Right.
Okay, and these hotels have where they are usually like 65, 67%, especially in hurricane season.
Okay.
They're only like 22, 23%, and that's
Mm.
because of what the Santos is doing. And then if you look at the boats that are leaving for the cruises, they
Hmm.
may have one or two cruises that are leaving because a lot of folks are taking their bucks up out of there.
Mm. No, I
They're
mean,
tourism boats.
I
And
wouldn't be surprised
no,
after the recent shooting as well. People are like, okay,
right.
you caused it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And,
Like,
right. So then if you leave out, I think if you leave out of, I think it is New York.
hmm
And if you leave out of, I can't think if it's New Orleans or if it's Texas. If
it
you
might be
leave out of one of
Texas.
those,
Yeah, it's Texas.
if you leave out of those ports,
Hmm.
and you have the alcohol package, you can get alcohol to the next day. But those people are choosing to give up the alcohol packages for a
Hmm.
day just not to be in Florida right now.
Wow. No, I mean, I'm not surprised with that. Granted, New York, leaving out of the port of New York, that will be stopping soon because they don't do it during the winter. They only do it
Right,
during the spring and summer. So that'll be
right.
stopping soon. So the only option will probably be uh,
In
the
the
Gulf
South.
of Texas and in the South.
Right.
So I don't know how long they'd be able to like withstand not going through Florida or not using Florida, but
Well, but you
hopefully.
got different ports that you can leave out of, though. You
Yeah, but
you
they only
have
do certain, like Miami is the longest one. Like
it.
Miami is
It
almost
is
like a year round one. The rest of those are kind of like they start a particular time and they usually stop. Like the one in Texas, when they really start kicking up hurricane season, they may slow down a bit and may not do any cruises. But Florida, for the most part, as long as there's no real hurricane coming through, that constantly is moving. So
right.
that's
So
going to be
what
a
what
hard
they're
hit.
what a lot of people are doing now is they're starting to leave from Canada and
Hmm.
California to stop from
Mm,
going through Florida.
Mm.
So I
wow.
mean, I mean, he disrespected so many people. He's still
Yeah, no, I mean,
disrespecting.
he
And so
does. He
these
definitely.
hotels, even in hurricane season, they were like, okay, so it's hurricane season, we high up. And I've been watching this on the news and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
they're like, they had that one hurricane, they had a tropical storm, and they got another one that's forming right now.
Right. Yeah. No, I saw that. But it's that time of year. I mean, in that part, I just don't. It's that's natural for Florida. So hurricane season is something that is natural
But
for this time of
it
year
can
for
be
them.
right. But
But,
see, let's go back because this is what I did. I went back last year,
mhm.
even when we had because it's still prevalent right now, the
Right.
C-19 stuff, right? You go back, you look at the hotel rooms that you couldn't get in, or they charged all this money and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So what they're doing now is they're slashing the prices because they want the tourism dollars,
Right, of course.
Mhm.
but they're
Because
not getting them.
right, because this is the highlight. This is the this is the rush of that last summer vacation break. So this is a big time for them to make money. Now, due to
But
all
they
of
know,
the, mhm,
I'm saying, but where you can still say that people stayed on shore and got on the ships
mhm,
even later, or they made other recommendations. These hotels are only 20 something percent. These people are going to go out of business. These nightclubs and stuff like that, these restaurants, they're not getting our dollars. And until they do something about the Santos, it's not going to happen, because we got to remember what DeSantos was trying to do. DeSantos said that he wanted to run for president, but he wanted to also keep his governor's position, and
mhm.
he can give folks to vote on that in his way.
Well, I mean, you kind of you get what you pay for. Like I don't feel sorry for none of these people because
I
what
don't
they
feel
do is they're all for one. They're for one part, but they don't think about the overall effects that this will have. Nobody, you thought it was funny when he's coming after Disney, but you didn't realize that Disney takes care of that
so.
whole entire town.
So then you got Disney World right now. Look it up. Look it up. You got Disney World right now.
Mhm. Oh,
Disneyland and California numbers are higher than
yep,
Disney
Mhm.
World.
yep.
Yeah, because a lot of people diverted over there. Most kids don't
Exactly.
care. Most carers don't care as long as it says Disney on it.
Right, yeah, they don't really care whether it's Disneyland or Disney World, to be honest. And then with
So
the thing going on with Disney right now, of course, which makes the people who live in the Disney area of Disney
mm,
World, they're gonna suffer because them
they,
taxes
they,
gonna shoot the hell up, and they're gonna
exactly.
whip DeSantis F out.
So do you want him? Do you want this? Do something? Do you want him speaking for you? Come on, man? Do y'all
But
want him speaking for you?
I mean, well, he already is speaking for the people in Florida because they
Yeah.
chose him. But that's the thing.
Mhm.
But that's why you really have to be careful when when people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I like this program. Or I like that program." But if he's against your people, why would you even consider him? Like when I think about people who don't look at certain things that Trump has said and done, and then go, "Well, it's policies." But as a person who is black, how could you just be
Mhm.
okay with
How
Trump?
can a person that's black, Hispanic, or in the community
Well,
want DeSantos speaking
well,
for them?
well.
And I
I
guess
think
that's
you
why I'll
actually.
never understand these these little challenges that are going on. Because if I was in Florida, I'd just begin what my memes are when me trying to collect nothing for nothing there. But let me shut up.
No, like even right now in Texas, they're going through the impeachment process of that politician who they found was it pornographic stuff on his computer. They're going through his
Hmm.
impeachment process right now. But the stuff that they are actually saying now, remember, these are Republicans versus Republicans. Ain't too many Democrats in there. They're just there like for support to get him impeached. But it's Republicans versus Republicans. They are really like, well, we're not here to be the moral police of a
But you
candidate.
are.
You know what I'm saying? But you do this. So what you're basically saying is, as long as they're Republican, it's okay what they do, even if they
That's
breaking the
right.
law and doing all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
But,
With little kids,
but
because you can imagine if you
right,
have that, if you have
So
that
can
stuff
I
on your.
ask a real important question?
yes, ma'am.
So do we think on Cap Hill, and this is important because we got to understand where this go. And I'm saying this on Cap Hill. Do we think that Trump being charged, he's going to be able to run in the next election?
He shouldn't be. because it
No,
would be
he
a federal
shouldn't be at
charge.
all.
No, because
No,
he's
exactly.
because if he's charged, if he's convicted, that would be a federal charge, and
Hmm.
you can't run for president with a
But they gave
federal
him a
charge.
federal charge in Georgia. He's got the federal charge in New
No,
York and Georgia.
well, no, those are just like the charges have been set before him. In other words, he's been indicted. He hasn't been charged. He's just been indicted. If he's actually convicted, then he would be charged. And if he's convicted, then no, he can't run for president. But with 90 some odd charges, how do you get out of 90 some odd charges? That would
Exactly.
be the shit that I would be like, well, they're going to convict him of one. Because even if they convict him, do I think he's going to go to jail? Would be the different question. Do I think he's going to go to jail? No. Do I
So
think
the
he could get convicted? Yes. Because if he got convicted on the federal, he wouldn't be able to run.
so then we go back to those niggas with Trump t-shirts. It was a whole lot of ignorant black folks. I'm sorry. Back
No,
in
that's what it's
Georgia,
true.
back in Georgia, that
Mhm.
had those shirts on.
Yeah, but it sends a message. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sad part that makes my stomach turn. That sends a message that you will do anything to one, get your face in the camera so you can be popular, to degrade yourself and your dignity because it's something that you think somebody will glorify, and then the person that you doing all these accolades for don't give two shits about you.
Exactly. That's my whole point. But your whole mama is an immigrant to the United States of America. We
Mm.
gotta start come on, man. We gotta start making people responsible for what they do. Your mama was an immigrant.
Uh,
So you basically you trying to talk about other
I
immigrant
don't know.
or even the Indian community that was here before those people. So basically, they better than us. That's what you're saying.
Well,
Your mama one of them immigrants.
but I mean that's as far as making someone feel like, but at least you're better than them. That is the uh, top two operation of white supremacy, right? So it's like they can't win just this whole group of people against little us. We have to at least bring some people along with us to be on our side to make our numbers larger to fight against who our target is. So of course they're going to bring brown people in and say, well, at least you're not black, you know.
Hmm.
But that,
Uh,
but see the
Asians,
whole.
at least you're not black. Come on over here, and they will come because they think that this is better
Yes,
opportunity to be
yes,
on
one
our
up
side.
over.
But but if we
It's
go ahead,
it's
Nate.
no, I was saying it's one up. It's one up over everybody else.
Mhm. Yeah,
Look at the Irish and the Italians. They weren't.
right,
They were niggas too.
right. This
Right.
whole thing
That's
of
my
white,
point.
black, this whole thing
Now
of white
they're
and
just
black
as
has
white and
just
everything else.
right. This thing of white and black has just really become a thing. There was no thing of white and black. The rich people just had to figure out a way to make sure they created a class where they kept their money and wealth and it didn't get,
Because they
sectioned
weren't
for
birthing them
everybody else.
babies fast enough.
Too.
That's what
No,
it
and
boiled
Wow.
then
down to.
okay, so then let's go back to the turnover of Roe versus Wade.
Hey,
Okay,
Beth.
yes. So let's go.
Hey,
Let's go there.
Hey,
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 hello.
how
hey,
are
Babs.
you?
I'm good.
Good.
I was
I,
listening to the
I was.
conversation and that
Oh, okay. I was just gonna go to one thing, and then you can have the floor. I
yeah, go
promise
ahead.
you. I'll even drop down.
No, don't drop down.
Um, I was gonna go back to. Let's go back to
Roe
the
v. Wade.
turnover of Roe versus Wade.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, so let's think of about it like this. We got to go back to the welfare system and the WIC system and everything else. Black folks are not the majority on these systems.
You never
So
would.
what they're doing, and then you got a whole bunch of these interracial couples that are having a black and white females This is not for us. This is because you got to think about it. These Caucasian females are having the abortion rate far more than what we are. They
Mhm.
don't want these kids.
Well, I wouldn't want my uncle's baby either, but you know,
See, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I wouldn't want my uncle's baby either. But you know, I guess you got to do what you got to do. But yeah,
No,
no,
that's just the point that I was making. And then you got to think about it. You got to think about it on the welfare system. They always want to say that we are on that welfare system, but I am on the panel, and that I don't know you, but I can tell you that on this 75%
yeah,
of this panel right now
yeah,
does not get any kind of government assistance.
no, and they don't run numbers properly.
No, that's always been the trick,
Yeah,
is to come
right.
out and say,
They,
you welfare queens or whatever. And most
right,
people don't think about the actual population. If you're 13%
percent.
of the
The
whole United
welfare queens
States,
are on Wall Street.
That's my point.
Right,
thank
but
you.
that doesn't make sense. If we're 13% of the population, then everybody who's black would be on public assistance, and they're
That's my
not.
point. But then if
Hey,
you go
where's my
on,
cheese?
Right.
Not very much.
if you go on most of these panels, if you go on most of the panels that is in YouTube right now, it's just okay. So let's say it's four of us right now. Now, four of us have nothing to do with any kind of food stamps, Medicaid, or anything else right now. Who you talking to?
But beyond that, though, they want to say that poor folks are welfare queens and all that sort of stuff, and denigrate poor people. But they never talk about the fact that these people on Wall Street are getting kickbacks all the time.
All the time.
Amazon hasn't paid taxes in how many years?
They
A
haven't
long
paid taxes.
time.
It's been about 12 years, I think.
But we
I
want
mean,
to talk about food stamps.
but
That's
the
my.
true
But
welfare
you
queens are
understand?
these big companies. They are companies like
Exactly.
Walmart who was getting subsidized income from the government for actually putting their employees on food
So,
stamps. So
so then let
Yeah.
me ask one more question.
that's
And I'm
fine.
not being in one of this group right now. How many people on this panel have or went through when C-19 went through? I'm not gonna say the word because I don't want to get you in any kind of nothing. How many
Right.
people had PPP loans on this
No,
panel?
I don't have a
Exactly.
license.
Exactly. None of us had a PPP
And
loan.
I wasn't trying to go to
And
prison.
Right, right. Because you be the first one in there. You see
Oh, they be
everybody else.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
Right.
they
they
my
were
be
getting
right
point.
at your
Enrique
door.
sentence.
That's my point. But see, now do the melanated folks get what I'm saying here? It's not us that's going after this stuff. We not doing this. It's
No,
not us.
Republicans have been very successful in
Yes.
pitting poor people against other poor people.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's what I came up to say.
You hit the nail on the
Especially with
head.
Donald Trump, they specialize in otherism, and
Hmm.
that
Yes.
it's that populist message of hatred that they embrace.
Yeah.
It's the extremely dangerous version of populism.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, that
It
we
is.
saw in the 30s in Germany.
Yes.
hmm
Exactly. Exactly. I've been saying that
And they keep
since day
running the
one.
same playbook.
Yeah. That's
That's the
all.
thing that
Literally.
gets me. But at least this time, more people see it
Right.
Yeah.
for what it actually is. That's
But
the good thing about it.
if you've been in Germany, if you've ever been in Germany, especially in the military, you'll know that none of our military folks in Germany that are from the United States are on any assistance in Germany. It's all of the Caucasian folks that are over there that's there. That is getting the states the government's
Janari?
Yeah, Germany is real good about helping its citizens now. They wanted to reform a
hmm
lot after World War II.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, because it was one of the
Yeah, they did some
first.
pretty bad things.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say it was one of the
yeah,
first. It was one of the first conflicts that was pretty much televised.
right.
Yeah,
And
and
you actually saw
horrifically.
you saw the horrors. That's why they keep saying,
Yeah,
they keep talking about
it
the
was
Holocaust
televised.
was one of the
Right,
largest. It's one of the largest, human atrocities. But you got to remember, no, it wasn't. It was just that it was televised.
right,
Slavery, and no matter from what direction it was coming from, was
right,
much larger because it went over hundreds of years.
right.
Yeah, they stole over a quarter of the population from West Africa, from what I read. It's
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's insane to think of the
yeah,
scope of how slavery was over South and Central and North America. But
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
me and my dad were talking. We were like, you look at the things that certain political parties are talking about right now, and it's like they read a certain dictator's playbook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
much.
all of them are following the same thing. And
That's
like I said, you
it.
can see it every time they watch them do this. You could almost
Right,
call it and
right,
watch
right,
them do this. They're going to
right.
start, if they had newspapers or whatever, they're going to start closing off free speech. You
Yeah,
can't get any communications out. It's
Yeah.
the same exact thing. And it's like the same cycle over and
right.
over and
Even
over
with
again.
right now with the whole thing of stopping the libraries from having certain things, the book burning. They were doing book burnings back before.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right, literally, the brown suits would go into towns, rip out people's books, and set them on fire in the middle of the town, and just have all these book burnings. It's the same thing, just different methods.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you have Trump going after the free press and things like that. It's not a joke. And I wish
No,
people would realize this is not playtime.
no, it really isn't.
Hmm.
It really isn't. And this whole thing of they're attacking him, they're going after him. It's a witch hunt. No, the Negro was criminal. Clearly, Darnell
Yes,
was
they're
doing
going
criminal
after him because
activity.
he's a criminal.
Right,
But the thing
right.
that kills me is, the United States acts as though, well, we don't know what to do.
Yeah,
How do you not know what to do?
because
You
you
go in,
want
This is your
you
to.
go,
government.
you go in. No, but you go in all these other countries and you know what
Yeah,
to do.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
now
You
you got
liberate
now you
everybody.
got roaches in your house and you don't know what to do.
Oh,
Yep.
that's because they know what to do in other countries when the person does not look like them. When they're
They know what
brown
to
and
do in
black,
other countries when they can
Oh no,
leave and leave stuff all destabilized.
yeah, they
yeah,
can
right,
destabilize. They can wipe out whole entire
and take their
populations
resources.
and take their resources and do the same thing. That's why I keep saying, and you hear me always hump on the violence thing.
Yeah,
There is a point in time when you have to have violence.
yeah,
Unfortunately, this is
yeah.
what the United States is built on. It's
Hmm.
built on violence, and if you sit and be passive, they're going to roll over you too, and you're just going to be a footnote in the history books as the new government takes
Let
over
me tell you,
and
Nick.
does what they do.
Somebody, the Republicans have a real fondness for Martin Luther King now, right? They'll talk
Oh
about, oh,
yeah.
he was a
Oh
pacifist, he
Lord.
didn't want violence, and I'm like, well,
Mhm.
y'all kill him too. I
Right,
don't think that
right,
that helps.
Thank you.
right.
Yeah,
And
thank
not to
you.
mention that later on in his life, before his passing, he started to realize that maybe he took the wrong path with being nonviolent with these people who were so violent.
Yeah,
Because after a certain point, when he felt like, okay, we need to still keep fighting, they felt like, oh well,
Mhm.
you did enough. Look how much we got you. Look how far we got you. And it's like, but we
we
haven't
got
gone
you as much
anywhere.
as we want to
Yeah,
get
once to
you.
get you. That's
Right.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's no change, and sometimes you just have to fight. You just have to fight for what it is you actually want.
Yes. Yes,
You know,
sir.
just for the self preservation of you and your people.
Right.
And there's no. I don't think God would be upset, depending upon what God you worship. Would be
That might be
upset.
true.
Would be
I
upset
always say
with
Jesus was flipping
self
tables.
preservation. Hmm.
So
Hey,
are we
he
talking
was
No
about?
flipping
So
problem.
are
tables
we
for
talking?
sure.
Are we talking about the guy with the woolly hair and the bronze skin?
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm asking the question. Look, I'm asking for
Talking
everybody
I
else that
saw
want
this
to know.
clip of this African church, and they said that the pastor had Jesus come down from heaven, and of course it was this white man with stringy old white hair to come down and speak to the parishioners. And
I'm like, Pastor,
thinking,
no.
I'm like,
Mm-mm-mm.
seriously, are we really
Right.
still like really in Africa, no less, the place of
Mhm.
civilization? We're still cradling the fact
So
that this white man came. Okay,
So then
It's
let's
crazy to
do
me
that.
because my grandma raised us with Black Jesus and Black Santa and Black
Right.
everything.
Right.
Yeah,
See,
at least
But she was
everybody
a
was
fool. My
black.
granny was crazy. She had white lawn jockeys.
No, you know what? You know
That would be
that's
cool.
the run. No, that's the running joke. You know that, right?
it is.
They had,
That
they
is
had,
the running
that is
joke.
the running joke. You ever see, especially older black people, and they would
Uh-huh.
have white people down as they're holding the little lanterns and everything at the
Right.
end of that's
That's
a running
I
joke.
didn't know
You
that. That's
tell them,
what's up.
yes, that
Yes,
sure is. You
that
tell them,
is the.
and they will snicker and laugh, yeah, baby. Ain't gonna have no black people stand up there. I had white people stand there hold my light.
Yep.
That was always been the running joke because I would see it, and you would see what some people would paint them,
Right.
paint them whatever color it is they wanted them. But
Mm.
if
Right.
you go to an older black person's house,
Uh-huh.
you would 9 times out of 10 you'd find white
You're gonna
lawn
see a
jockeys.
white Jesus on
Mm.
day walk. But see, the whole thing is when you start doing your ancestry and everything else, when you do your genealogy, you'll figure out that that white
That the
Jesus bit
FBI
is
ain't stealing.
just child. It is what it is.
But
But
I just
my
wanted to
fault,
say
y'all.
real
I
quick
got
because
disconnected.
Mhm.
I'm a hop off of here. But
Okay.
that
Alrighty.
part about the older folks is a good segue into what I wanted to say because my folks raised us to be like real proud of being black or whatever, right?
Right.
And so when I
Hmm.
see people like good old proud boy Enrique
Mhm.
and the sentence he got, it fills me with so much joy. I was
Right.
so happy when I saw
Yeah,
those 22 years, and
the
it's
22
mad.
years.
It's
Yeah.
Hmm.
mean.
Right. Like be mad. Realize that and just like the old boy, the black guy who was indicted in the Georgia case when he
I
had
was
to
Oh
like,
sit
yeah,
in jail.
Yeah.
Like y'all
yeah, the
don't
one that's still
realize,
sitting there.
yeah,
Hmm.
y'all don't realize that when it's y'all, there's nobody to help y'all. Y'all get the
Ain't
longer
nobody that'll
sentence
help.
on purpose.
yeah, they gave what 20-year sentences, 18, 16. He got good old 22.
22. Right.
But I wish that they would have had the recording when they read him the sentence. I want to hear him
And
scream and
then
cry
Me
like those other guys
too.
did.
so then my thing is this, y'all. Let's go back to these folks that are the black folks that
Mhm.
are not that even are not convicted. I mean, well, they're convicted, but they didn't do it. You only see like a 1 or 2% of them that ever get out.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Good
but
old
they.
Uncle Ruckus Thomases.
Yep,
Right.
there
Right.
you go. There you go.
But bye, y'all.
That's
I'm
my
hopping
point.
off of here.
All
Okay,
right. Thank
thanks
you
for
All
for
coming
stopping
out.
by, Zaps. Thank you.
I guess I stirred up enough controversy for the night.
All right, so now you did because I'm 2 hours and 14, 15 minutes in. So I'm about to go to bed my daggone self. Thank you.
Okay.
But it was a
All
pleasure
right,
as
love.
always. All right.
I
You have
know.
a great
You know what? I don't try to stir up controversy, but
Oh, it's
the
fine.
truth is the truth.
I can
It is.
say it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And we have to start addressing it, you know.
Yes.
Hmm.
So and living in it. So that's all. But definitely thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And it's always been a pleasure. Brother Nate, you got any final words on
No,
this
just
good
keep
old
cool, drink water, moisturize.
Please stay moisturized.
And lay off
Don't
the
be
mayonnaise.
dry.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, lay off the mayonnaise. And don't eat nobody's don't eat nobody's lasagna off the floor.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
eat,
Uh,
don't
don't eat
eat
and check
nobody.
on.
Look, y'all, and y'all put me on to that one because I didn't even know that was going. Don't eat nobody cheese off the floor and don't eat. Never mind. I'ma shut
yeah.
up.
But first
Anyway,
of all, check some people's stove. If they got dirty stoves, don't unless you want some extra sprinkle seasoning in your food.
Hmm.
That
And
lady
check
said.
on your incarcerated families,
Yes, please do. In all
especially in this
seriousness,
weather.
yeah, definitely check on your family members that may be incarcerated due to the treatment that they may be receiving inside there. That is
Hmm.
definitely
Especially
something that,
during this weather changes that we're having.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
'Cause climate change is real, y'all.
yeah.
Let's
So
Hmm.
keep
we
on
in a, and then we got to tell people we in the El Nino pattern this season coming up. So
Mhm.
just stock up and be careful, and just know that there's a C19 strand that's stronger
Oh,
that's
yes.
coming
Hmm.
back,
That too.
Oh
and be
yeah.
prepared.
Oh yeah, yeah. My wife has it.
Oh, see,
My wife has it. Yeah, sure does. Thank God for a big house.
Yeah. Look at you. You are.
Send me a text.
it's not going
Yeah.
nowhere. But just know that
Yeah, it's still out
Yeah.
here.
It's still out
right,
here.
and there's an even stronger strand that's supposed to come out in the next 4 to 5 years.
Mm.
It's gonna be attached to C19. So just stay stocked up. Keep y'all water, y'all
Yeah, yeah.
toilet
Well,
paper.
you,
Right.
yeah,
Don't do
yeah. You
like
just
y'all
don't
did
stop.
when it
Yeah.
first came out.
Yeah.
Don't take all the toilet paper and wipes and bleach away.
Yeah. Don't do
Everybody need that. Just stock it
hmm
up.
I got
Right.
mine.
Definitely.
Just don't
Definitely.
come to my house. I
No,
ain't
don't.
passing out nothing. I ain't passing out nothing.
I'm
Anyway,
selling it. I'm selling it.
Yeah, I was
A
gonna say.
roll of
I'm not
toilet
going to jail.
paper is
Anyway, I'm not going to jail listening to
a roll
y'all.
of toilet paper is $5 if you come to my house looking
I'm
for
not
it.
going to jail.
He's like, you
Okay.
know,
Look, Nate, kept trying to get
uh-huh.
us off of here.
I'm not going to jail for y'all. Not for no $5.
Yeah, you know how YouTube is. They've been to
Right.
track you down.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, have a blessed night, everybody. Until next
We'll
time.
take
Peace.
care.
Good night,
Good night.
guys. Love y'all.